really looking forward to speaking to you today about misinformation online. Before that, I was a journalist in London, and I was reporting on general kind of community stories and crime, politics. In Hong Kong, I was also formerly working for the South China Morning Post, which is possibly a paper you're familiar with. Currently, I'm working for AFP, which is you'll get local media sites that are being basically ripped off, and people will create blogs that look very like the media site, and they'll even try and doctor a logo from the original media site and repurpose it to make it look like it's genuine media. So unfortunately, another thing you can use if you can't find dates for when something was published online, there are tools like this one, which can predict when a web page was first published.
We have lots of people saying Hong Kong. Make sure you guys give a city. A few people saying China. Pick a city. New York, Seoul.
Cool. I can see why people said Hong Kong and China because of the Chinese writing, but actually it shows New York. So whoever said New York, gold star to you. The reason we know this is because there's a sign here saying Law Office of David A. Braddon, and if you have time, you can search that, and it will show you that his office is actually in New York, and this is Chinatown. So of Tom Hanks with a volleyball, supposed to be the volleyball from his film Castaway, Wilson, and they cut around this video where he was holding the volleyball at a basketball match, and then they superimposed it onto a photo of a hospital. You can actually, if you look at it more closely, you can see it's not very well cut out. It's a bit kind of rough around the edges.
Hello. So my question was like, if you were a developer of a social media app, so like what would you do to prevent the spread of fake news on that platform?
Wow, that's a big question. It's very difficult because the concept of social media is that everyone has a voice and everyone can publish. If I was to create my own platform, I would want to keep that principle. So I wouldn't want to be pre-moderating comments, which is what we see maybe in some parts of the world. I would want to keep the debate open, but I would also appreciate if I had fact checkers working with me to, police some of the misleading content and moderators to take down the really damaging stuff.
How do you ensure that your work or findings are real and factual?
So we try to demonstrate things visually if we can, and then we can be absolutely sure that something shows what it shows. So if we have proof that something was online 2 years ago, we can demonstrate that in a blog. We always speak to official sources like governments, NGOs, charities. We try to get to witnesses if we can to a particular event.
Is there like a very clear difference between fake news and like real news?
Yeah, I think there is a very clear difference because misinformation is either inaccurate or deliberately misleading people. And if you try to find some trusted, let's call them mainstream media sites that you follow, I'm not going to tell everybody which mainstream media sites they should follow. I think that's up to the individual to decide. But I would say read a range of mainstream media, and hopefully that will give you a more balanced understanding of the world.
How do regulators of fake news and information and the government cooperate, as some governmental programs use fake information for their benefit?
So we have relationships with governments in our local, in our countries where we're fact checking. We do have contacts there, but I wouldn't say we're collaborating. We have to make quite a strong distinction, like you say, between the fact that we're a media organisation and they are the authority, and occasionally we'll be working in countries.
Thank you to you, Ms. Blundy. We all appreciate the time you have put in and what you have taught us today. So that was very helpful, and we give a warm thank you from the very bottom of our hearts. We have definitely learned more about media and misinformation, and this will really help us succeed in English. So thank you once again for being great today. Thank you so much for coming and sharing us such great and requisite information with us.
That's really sweet. Thank you, guys. That's the nicest thank you I've had, and I teach quite a lot of people, so thank you.